and I received a message specific life like how much can a woman I can give you a convincing answer. Women trying to please everybody at wow. I don't want people to be that we cannot trust everybody. Maybe pretending more than how I used to be. Hello everyone, welcome back to another topic discussions. So today it's not a topic basically, but I had done this specific video a couple of weeks, I think even months ago, and I received a message specifically stating that a good girl syndrome means, does that mean that the females or the women are pretending to be good? Are they acting in their lives? So I found this question very interesting, like acting in the life, like how much can a woman or anybody can act in their life consistently. I don't think anybody can act like in their own lives acting. I don't think it's possible for anybody to act in daily lives to an extent. Maybe they can pretend in certain situations or scenarios, but acting throughout their life, I don't think that is a feasible characteristic for anybody. Forget about women. For anybody, I don't think it's possible for women to act in their life consistently. So for me, okay, I did a little bit of research, so I hope I can give you a convincing answer. But whatever, as I always suggest, whatever is your confusions with regard to these kind of topics, please feel free to put in your comments so we can discuss it further. Okay, so from whatever I could understand and from my experience, what I have felt is what I'm going to share here. Okay, so what I would say is that this good girl syndrome was, for me, it was predominant around 15-20 years ago. Like I can see people from my age group discussing about this topic a lot, because nowadays they have started saying no, they have started setting strong boundaries. The guards have went up for everybody. I'm talking about people of my age. Okay, youngsters nowadays are like very clear about what they want and what they do not want with their lives. So when I did a bit of research regarding the good girl syndrome, this is the definition that I came across. Like, women, especially women, trying to please everybody around, not setting specific boundaries, trying to be, what do they mention? Like they say that they're trying to be the perfectionist, perfect in everything, perfect in taking care of the family, perfect in cooking, perfect in cleaning, perfect in setting up the home, perfect in their profession, physique, everything, trying to be a perfectionist. So that is the kind of definition I could find, and trying to avoid conflict. If there's a conflict, no, I'm not going to engage. So this was the definition, or this is the definition that I came across when I did a bit of research. So when I talk about good girl syndrome, I don't think women were trying to act or please or pretend in their day-to-day lives. No, not at all. I think they were being themselves. I still believe, like in our childhood and all, we used to maintain a huge group of friends. We used to walk around with a huge lot of friends, in the schools or colleges. We used to have big gangs of friends. Everybody sat around, chit chat, we discussed, we talked, we spoke. Like we didn't spend much time on devices unlike today. So we spoke and we maintained a huge group of friends. But right now I would maintain very few people whom I trust completely, whom I believe in them, whom I have known for ages. So I would keep very few people close to me. Unlike those days, I used to maintain, you can talk to any of my friends who were with me in school or college, and I used to be like, everybody, not only me, everybody used to maintain a huge group of friends, because we did not spend much time on devices, or the social scenario was not like what we have today. In those days, it was the way of life. We try to be nice with everybody. We try to avoid conflicts. We were like focusing on our lives. And one very important thing I noticed is that people did not interfere with other people's lives as much as what we see today. Today, everybody is trying to be a part of other people's lives, wanting to know what is happening in their lives, or trying to interfere in other people's lives. The interference, I find, is much more right now rather than how it used to be. People discussed and left it at there, nobody tried to interfere and manipulate the situation for their own gains or any benefits. No, nobody, everybody was so busy in their own lives and their own crowd and their own scenarios that nobody had the time to interfere or manipulate with other people's lives. At least this is my understanding. Okay, whatever I'm discussing here is from my perspective. So this is what I understand. Nowadays we have social media, people are posting on social media, we have CCTV cameras, we have monitoring going on everywhere. We step out of the house, we are being monitored. We post something on social media, people are actually monitoring as to what is happening in your life, and people are keen to understand, and people are ready to comment, and people are ready to get involved. Okay, that is all fine, but there are even certain people who try to manipulate the stories, try to manipulate the situation for their own advantages. So it goes a step ahead. And now the more than good girl syndrome, people are, or women are into protecting themselves, protecting their own boundaries, So this change is social rather than personal. This good girl syndrome change, as far as I am concerned, is more of a social change rather than a personal change that has been brought about in a woman or in women. So personally, I would be acting more now in my social scenarios rather than what I was used to be. I used to be very active. I used to smile, laugh. I used to trust every Tom, Dick and Harry. I used to be so social. I used to be active. But now I won't. For me, now my safety is much more concerned. I put up a guard so big that I make sure that only the people I trust so much come in. Socially, I may not laugh, smile as much as how I used to be. I used to be so active socially, but now I don't. I put my guards up and I'm like, I need to protect myself and my privacy, which is much more important to me rather than creating those social circles of how I used to be. So I think it's a gradual change in the society rather than individual changes. And this is something I'm seeing all around, and nobody is acting. Maybe if a person is acting, I may be acting now than what I was, Now I may pretend to be a very serious person when I go out for social gathering. I'm not as warm as how I used to be, because I don't want to be that warm. I don't want people to be a part of my life, because life happened and we realized that we cannot trust everybody. We cannot be so open like how we used to be. So, not everybody is there to support us. Not everybody is. There are different kinds of people, and life taught us the realities of life and the characteristics of different various characters. So we change and evolve accordingly. So now I'm maybe pretending more than how I used to be as a good girl. And as a good girl, I was actually a good girl, I suppose. And now I'm a little much more serious. I may not be as social as how I used to be. And it's basically knowing how to maintain a boundary and, maintain yourself and saying no. Like whatever situation you don't want to be part of, you have to say no without feeling guilty. There's nothing to feel guilty. If you do not want to be part of a social gathering or a family gathering, you can confidently say no and excuse yourself in a nice manner. So that's all. There is nothing much, and it is part of the social changes that is happening all around us. So this is something I had actually wanted to address. As always, do let me know what your thoughts are about this topic, so we can discuss it further and refine these topics further, which is beneficial to all those people who have been a good girl and who are learning to put in the right boundaries right now. Okay, so thank you. And see, what I'm talking about here is basically family and friends setups. Okay, I'm not talking about professional things. So I'm basically talking about the family and friends boundaries. Like in our culture, we women get married and our families grow much bigger than how it used to be, or how for the women it is used to be. So we have bigger families and how we handle those situations. So that is what I'm talking about here. So thank you. Until we meet next time.